Okay. Streaming. Streaming.
Streaming.
Streaming. There we go.
This will be our last streaming
Our last streaming of
the
the
calendar year,
which seems crazy.
2024.
When I say I genuinely don't know how that's possible, I mean that I genuinely don't know how that's possible. But man, oh man, I can't. I can't believe that we've made it to the end of the year. It just doesn't seem. I don't know. Maybe because it's been another really strange year. Or for us, I should say, in the industry, it's been a strange year. I think the world been a bit of a strange year.
And our household has had some disruptions.
Minor disruptions.
And there's the daily disruption of 3-year-old Daisy.
My child is not a disruption.
No.
How very dare you?
No, she's a constant reminder of the miracle of life and the incredible privilege of watching a human being take form.
Well, that's very poetic of you, sir.
I was hoping.
That is entirely poetic of you. Good afternoon, Maltins. Good afternoon, Arthur. Hello. I mean, you know what it is? I got hang on, a little bit higher.
Okay.
There we go. A little easier to see what you guys are writing. Yeah, it's a strange year. It's. I think that we, like everyone else, are sort of waiting for it to not be strange.
Well,
that didn't. 1 second. Hang on. There it goes. I don't know why.
Oh, now we're live up there too.
Yeah. I don't know why that didn't want to work.
We have actually a crew of 7 or 8 camera people.
Oh, yeah.
Here, all with their lenses trained on us.
We are so high tech. We're so high tech. You can't even tell that we're high tech. That's how high tech we are.
That's just how high tech we are.
That's just how high tech we are. Good grief, Charlie Brown. Yeah, it's just a strange time, I think, kind of in general. And that's part of what makes it so interesting to see in terms of film and entertainment and all of that, kind of what people are wanting, and feeling like sometimes they're not, I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes you want to talk to the people who are making the movies, putting the movies out there and say, do you really think we need more dystopian, like everything's going wrong, the world is ending? Like, do we really need that? Because I don't personally. I would rather watch something entertaining than more of the sort of we're all gonna die type stuff. But but everybody's different. Everybody likes different stuff. I don't know.
I did watch among the many and varied films I took in this past month, the Romanian film called "Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World."
Yes.
And it is not dystopian, it's satiric.
Okay.
And it's satiric about the world as it is.
Yeah.
And the world as it's continuing to become, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
It's critical of life in Romania and life in general. And it ends with a bravura 35-minute stationary shot.
Yeah.
Where things are happening in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But cameras, anyway. Interesting movie.
I am, as I say, I really want escapism. I want just delightful escapism. I need something that's going to take my mind off of things. The new season of Sex Lives of College Girls is on. That's the speed I need right now. I need stuff that doesn't make your brain hurt.
Yeah.
I need things that are just funny. I will say, my husband and I just started watching a show that's actually on its 3rd season, and it's called The Other Two. I had never heard about this before. It's a Max show, which is probably part of why, because with all the different streaming things, they get lost really easily.
Very hard. Very hard. Just sorry to interrupt
to keep track.
It's so hard to keep track.
Really hard to keep track. So we were just sort of we were watching something else on Max. I can't even remember what it was. Oh, it's No, I really can't remember. It doesn't matter. We were watching something else. It came to an end and it said, maybe you should try one of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And so my husband and I did, and we just went with it. And we're already into season 2. My husband is not a binge person, which is terrifically disappointing. My dad's also not much for binging, which makes my mom crazy.
No.
Well, you're more bingy than you used to be.
I've learned to surrender.
You've learned to binge, yes.
A little sadness, Kevin, this year is that Somebody Somewhere is over.
Yeah.
They're calling it quits after 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And maybe that's good. Maybe they've kind of, done what they set out to do and don't want to, drag it or have it turn mediocre or rote in any way.
Yeah.
What an original show.
Yeah.
A very moving show.
And Bridget Everett is so talented.
Yes.
And such a force. Meeting her, she's a presence.
Yeah.
First of all, she's tall. Like, she's tall and she's a big personality. Yeah. And so, you hear me talk about sometimes the fact that so many actors and actresses are tiny.
Yeah.
They're so tiny. And so sometimes when somebody has a really big personality, you're shocked by just how petite they are. Bridget Everett is big. Like, as I say, she's tall, she's broad-shouldered, and you see her and she just carries herself beautifully. She really, really does. And she's a fan of my dad's, which is what matters most to me.
I met her ever so briefly at the AFI luncheon.
I'm so congested.
Last year. I am too. I've got a virus. I'm on antibiotics. Never mind.
We're all dying here. Anyway, this show, the other two, the 2 leads in it, I'm not familiar with. I'll pull up the thing. The first face that I recognized in it was Molly Shannon, and she's wonderful. And the next face I recognized was Richard Kind. And there's never a bad time for Richard Kind. We believe that deeply here. So, as I say, it's on Max. They're half-hour episodes. There are 3 seasons. The 2 leads are Helene York and Drew Tarver. And I'm not, Ken Marino's the other familiar face. Yeah. And there's a handful of other people in it. Josh Segarra, like, there's other people that you'll know, but yet the 2 lead people I'm not familiar with. And the basis of it is this 14-year-old kid goes viral, and his mother, his sister, his brother, they all are sort of trying to figure out how to ride the wave of his fame so that it can help them. But it's not, they really love their brother. And part of what I like about Molly Shannon's character as the mom is that she's not doing things for this. She's not forcing things upon her son.
Uh-huh.
So it's not that easy. It's not sort of the typical mom is pushing son. He hates it.
Yeah.
She won't let it. No, it's really sort of more realistic than that, in that it's just this kid goes viral and the family's kind of going, all right, I guess this is our time and we should do something with it.
Yeah.
But yes, we've been breezing through it, and it's really, really good and also frighteningly accurate. So much of it is frighteningly accurate. So yeah, I enjoyed that very much, and I recommend it to you. It's fun.
I wish that you and I and your mother could step into a transport
portal. I don't know.
Portal, yeah.
Yeah.
Step in a portal and step outside and see the new production of Gypsy.
Well, we can't see it right now, can we?
No.
Have you kept up with this?
No.
Cancel. They cancel almost a full week.
So many illnesses.
It's bad.
Spread among the cast of Broadway and off-Broadway.
But the problem, I think I've watched a lot of people's takes on this. And my friend Josh and I are always talking about it. Josh is saying just back today. Here's the thing. On the one hand, you understand why they don't want to call out ahead of time. They don't want to say, hey, there's no show tomorrow, the next day, whatever. At the same time, you have people who have purchased tickets, in some cases far in advance. People who flew to New York for this.
Right.
Or drove from other places, took the train, et cetera, et cetera. And they ended up canceling the matinee like an hour before. And people just felt like that was such a cruel thing to do. And I do agree with it. Because while I understand that it's really hard to plan, I also think that, you could give people a little bit more notice.
There's this,
and they're getting refunds. So in that sense,
right, it's a very slippery slope.
But the reason why they are canceling the shows instead of having understudies is because Gypsy has just opened on Broadway. The understudies are not necessarily ready yet. And also, and this is the other tough thing about having, like Audra McDonald's top billing above the title. If she can't be there, it's tough. So that's been interesting. I would like to see the production. It's interesting to hear what people are thinking of it, and a whole lot of shows are closing right now. But man, Chris says, I feel all the out-of-town ticket buyers who had Gypsy tickets because they can't exchange tickets. This might be that. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people saying that they, if they're coming in for this, they can't necessarily do that. It's not, local, it's fine, but it's not a lot of local.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people who made the decision to go, especially at Christmas time.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, though, something that happens on Broadway during Christmas is they do 10 shows in like 5 days because they get Christmas off. I think they get New Year's Day off, and then they have to cram shows everywhere else. So Monday, which is normally dark, meaning that there's not a show on that day, instead they'll have like 2 shows on the Monday, and you just I told you about some of the, again, I'm fascinated by TikTok and the worlds that exist there. And there's a woman named Mary Kate Morrissey, who is Elphaba on Broadway. And she really gives people a behind the scenes as to what it's like to do this job. And she's been talking about this, that, they go in knowing that someone's going to have to call out. You cannot do 10 shows in 5. You can't, you'll die. And for her, especially because this is such a song heavy show and physically demanding, you can't, it's really hard. That's interesting. So someone's saying, who could understudy,
Audra
McDonald, and Nick is saying Anika Noni Rose. I think that,
no, she's too young.
She's too young?
Or if she's not young, she presents young.
She looks young.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's also, I think, maybe petite for this. Again, just, we say this all the time because it's true. Like, I have in my head what what Mama Rose is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And it's hard to then have something else. Josh says, not to mention the Gypsy Kid wrangling at least 6 Baby June Louise double cast. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Yeah.
I've told you guys, so my husband did lighting for shows, still does, but now it's more event stuff. But in the UK, he did shows. He was on tour with Sound of Music for 8 months, which is why he will never listen to Sound of Music ever again.
Right.
If I want to enjoy it, I have to do that on my own in a car. But we had all of these kids, and, they could only be there at certain times, and they had to switch them out for the tour. So there were 3 sets of kids and like minders that went with those kids. And there was one that they called Gretel. Her nickname became Pissy Gretel. Because she kept peeing on stage.
Oh dear!
Not out of fear.
Oh dear! So it wasn't a judgmental nickname.
No, Pissy Gretel. And Danny talks about, my friend Danny, who was playing Maria, talks about at one point, she spins her around, and it was like So yeah, there were a lot of really solid nicknames for those children. But again, it is difficult. It's really difficult. Has my husband heard Ricky Lindholm's So Long Farewell song sung from the Baroness's point of view? Yes. Yes, I've heard that. Harrison says, you like the Bob Dylan film. That's his favorite movie of the year.
Yep.
So
I think it's a hell of a movie. I really do. And then I enjoyed watching Timothy Chalamet. My wife and I have rediscovered Graham Norton.
Yeah.
We used to watch him pretty regularly, and then we sort of drifted away. And we've just come back in the nick of time.
Yeah.
Because he's getting all of the stars
The film
promoting the year-end movies that they're in. And boy, those are real all-star sofa lineups. So he had Timothy Chalamet, Coleman Domingo, Andrew Garfield, James Corden, and his partner
Ruth Jones.
I'm forgetting somebody.
I don't know.
Anyway, and a musical guest that we never care about, but we always keep an open mind. We don't care about them. So it was fun hearing Timothy Chalamet talk. I've never seen him interviewed before.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
Well, because I don't watch a lot of this stuff.
All right.
I don't troll the web to see that kind of stuff.
You don't troll the web?
No, I don't.
I didn't know you didn't troll
the
web.
I don't.
So you don't troll the web, so you hadn't seen him interviewed before. What did you learn?
I learned that he had like over 5 years to work on his guitar playing and his singing.
Yeah.
Because first was one of those delays that happens to every movie.
Yeah.
And then there was COVID. Then there was the strikes, the actors and writers strikes.
Yeah.
And then prep. And so, he really got into it.
Well, one of the things I saw him talking about was that it was really helpful because there is so much film of Bob Dylan performing. And he specifically said when he and Joan Baez are doing a duet on stage, that being able to see them really helped him because he understood that they were playing. They were having fun.
Yeah.
They didn't really care so much about the sound in that moment. They were having a good time with each other. And I thought that was so interesting that it's true. There's good and bad with someone being famous enough that most of us know what he sounds like, know what he looks like. Even if you're not a fan, most people can recognize Bob Dylan or the sort of style of Bob Dylan. And so to sort of...
And the songs that he wrote.
Yeah. And to sort of find a way to play the role without it being a caricature,
right,
is a lot.
And his voice is so distinctive. Unfortunately, he doesn't really imitate that whiny kind of.
He's definitely nasal, but he's not. It's not any kind of an extreme situation. You still need a better. You still need a better grammar. Yeah, sorry. Tried to read.
No, I never met Olivia Hussey. Sorry to say. Sorry to see that she passed.
Sad. But a lot of people with wonderful stories about her. No.
Oh gosh.
We didn't see Merrily We Roll Along, Kevin. We have not been back east in a really long time.
We saw Merrily We Roll Along about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They did a video of the London production that Mr. Sondheim approved.
Yeah.
And liked.
Yeah.
And they did a closed circuit Fathom event type screening of that, and we went to that. So I feel I've seen a good production of it.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a great show, but it has a couple of really good songs, and a daring concept, which was not Sondheim's concept. It's an old show.
Yeah.
George S. Kaufman, I think. Anyway, so I've seen a version. Yes.
I will say, just a moment of pride. A friend of mine, somebody that I went to musical theater school with, was in this production of Merrily and was understudy to the female lead and went on multiple times with Daniel Radcliffe and Jonathan. And I just think that's the coolest thing in the whole wide world. Jonathan's just asking about, have you seen Rat Race? Someone's saying it's kind of similar to Mad World. It's supposed to be similar to Mad World.
Yeah.
It's not a great movie. I love it because I love everybody in it. It's not great, but I enjoy it.
Good.
Thanks. Yes, to all saying Happy Hanukkah. Yes. Happy Hanukkah to one and to all, folks.
I'm afraid I was not the demo for Better Man.
Yeah.
Because I really don't know Robbie Williams.
Yeah.
And so I felt really out of touch and out of
it has a specific demographic. I really want to watch it because I love Robbie Williams, so I would like to see it.
Yeah.
And he's from Stoke, which means a lot to our friend Matt, who is also from Stoke, because not much is from Stoke. But it's all my friends in the UK who have seen it love it. And so I think that for who it's made for, they enjoy it. There was a great documentary about the making of We Are the World, and it shows Stevie Wonder doing a great Bob Dylan impression. There are a lot of people with really solid Bob Dylan impressions. Yeah. He's not hard to imitate because it's
but
so...
he's not imitating him.
Yeah.
He's trying to channel him.
He's doing a version.
And that's why the movie works, because you buy him.
Yeah. Does Leonard like Mad, 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 Mad World?
Oh, that's a touchy subject for a lot of people, because I don't like it. And
it's a great cast. I don't like the movie.
I saw it when it was brand new.
Yeah.
On its first run, Manhattan. I think the Rivoli Theater. I think it was the Rivoli. In Super Panavision, which they were trying to disguise as Cinerama.
Yeah.
And it didn't make me laugh. And I love seeing all those wonderful people.
Yeah, it's an amazing cast.
And I watched it recently, or some of it recently, on TCM, and it just doesn't do it for me. Now, of course, there's the added nostalgia of, remember when all those people were alive?
Yeah, there's that. Do you know how I first saw it?
No.
Dr. Bob.
Oh, gosh.
Because when...
He should have gotten credit for...
a lot.
Film 101.
That's it. Our choir teacher... so after we would have our at Christmas time, you'd have your big choir concert, and then you still had a little bit of school left after that. And so our choir teacher, Dr. Bob, would show movies, and he showed Mad, 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 Mad World. He showed a bunch of the James Bond films, which
totally age appropriate,
projected on the wall of the choir room. He would just put it in, and we'd all watch. And yeah, that's how I saw that for the first time. He was also the first teacher who told me that I shouldn't try to sing like Ethel Merman, because that was an issue that I had when I was younger, because I loved Ethel Merman and I would try to do Ethel Merman, and he would repeatedly let me know that that was not a thing anyone needed. Josh says, I just can't shake The Brutalist. Brody makes you forget you're watching a movie for 3+ hours. Yeah.
That is a remarkable performance. And it's a instance of perfect casting. Perfect casting. He is the only actor on earth, probably, who could have played that character and made him so tangible, believable.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful. I think it's a great film, and I think he's great in it.
Yeah.
A colleague of mine read my review where I said I look forward to seeing it a second time.
Yeah.
He said, "You're a masochist."
Everybody's different.
Yep.
Yeah. Josh's Dr. Bob wouldn't survive 2 weeks in 2024. No, he, we had some old school teachers. We had teachers that threw stuff sometimes. There was a teacher who karate chopped a desk and broke it. That was a good one. Oh no, sorry. He karate chopped a desk and then he kicked the phone off the wall.
Uh-huh.
That was a good one. No, Dr. Bob, as several of my teachers were just of a different time. And Dr. Bob loved me because I love music,
right? And
have from such a young age, and was so devoted to it and dedicated to it. He liked me because I cared a whole lot, and I put 110% in every time because it just brought me so much joy. Other kids, when you're in 5th grade, 6th grade, did not care so much about choir, and that made him very angry. And so he would throw things or do inappropriate things. But I am very happy that I had him. And he's the one who taught us all how to breathe properly, how to use our diaphragms to sing. That didn't go over well either, because he would put us on the floor and put a book on your stomach and make you learn how to breathe properly so you could raise it up and down. Some kids weren't fans. Anyway.
I wish I had that exercise early on, because I still don't use my diaphragm.
You're terrible.
I don't use my diaphragm properly.
I have tried over the years. But that's one of the things about muscle memory is fascinating for that reason. I learned a long time ago, because my dad, at a different time, if you were becoming a film critic and a TV personality at a different time, you would have had a bit more of that kind of training.
Yes.
You never had training of any kind. And that,
They threw me in the deep end.
It's true. So you didn't learn how to do certain things with your body that you might have otherwise.
Yeah.
But do you watch the Jack Benny Christmas shopping show or listen to it every season?
I know it so well. I don't have to listen to it.
It just plays in your head.
I can just think about it, and it makes me smile. I thank Kaufman and Hart. Thank you, Craig. George S. Kaufman and Moss Hart wrote the play Merrily We Roll Along in 1934. Pardon me.
Yep.
So Mad World, no, I have friends who adore it, and who
So I think your three favorites are Brutalist, Complete Unknown, and September 5th. I think those are the three you've talked about the most, with me at least.
Yeah.
I think those are your top three.
Yes.
Yeah.
Conclave is very good.
Yeah.
Emilia Perez.
Yeah.
Right up there, like number 1.5.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
And seeing it a second time with my class.
Yeah.
Sort of that really.
Kevin's saying, do you like Monica as Joan Baez, Monica Barbara?
I like her fine. The thing is that they all give a sense of what they sounded like, what the real people sounded like. Joan Baez has such a unique voice. It's a great voice, and it's an unusual voice. With this, it's not a falsetto, but it's very pure upper register ability to sing way up high.
Yeah.
No one is going to ever sound like Joan Baez, but Joan Baez. And I grew up with Pete Seeger. I watched him, over the years, over the decades.
Yeah.
So I know those people really, really well as performers. So I'm very impressed with everybody's work. In that.
Two people are mentioning Jimmy Carter passed away. Yeah, I saw a little before we started. The news went out that Jimmy Carter, at 100 years old, has passed away. We say Kinahura.
God bless him.
One hell of a life, and 100 years is not too shabby.
I voted for him because he was an outsider, not a Washington politician.
Yeah.
That was his platform.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
The peanut farmer from Georgia who became governor.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't turn out so well. Yeah. But he became one of the greatest ex-presidents ever.
Yeah.
He lived such a long and fulfilling life and did good work.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. Jason is mentioning
rest in peace, Mr. Carter.
Yeah, Jason is mentioning Bike Riders and Furiosa. He's saying those are his two favorites. You loved Bike Riders.
I like Bike Riders an awful lot.
And that's by one of his favorite filmmakers.
And Jeff Nichols, yeah. And that film got screwed.
Yeah.
To put it, into encapsulate what happened to it. It was supposed to come out last fall, and then they changed their minds.
Yeah.
And I interviewed Jeff Nichols after a screening at AFI Fest, which is an autumn event.
Yeah.
And then they changed it. Then ostensibly they held it back because they didn't want it to get lost in the shuffle of all the other year-end releases. Right. Well, okay, that's smart. But then when are you releasing it? How, are you going to really promote it? Are you going to, make it, make people know that it's there? And they didn't.
Yeah, it's tough.
Too bad. It's a good movie.
Chris is saying, what film went over the best with your class this year?
No contest.
Wicked.
They literally stood up and cheered.
Let's see. Which recent or past film confused your class the most?
Confused? I don't
know that they're confused so much as I think that there are just times when you can tell it's going well and times when you can tell it's not. Sometimes they're hard to read. Sometimes you can't really, and then other times they are effusive, whether it's with hate or love. But I'm trying to think of when you've come home and they've just all been like, nope. It doesn't happen too often.
No, not too often. We had an interesting documentary this year, a low profile documentary as opposed to all the high profile ones people are talking about now, called The Body Politic.
Yeah.
And a really interesting film about Baltimore, made by a native Baltimorean or Balmorian.
Balmer.
And
Palmer.
And who really wants to try to put a lid on crime and turn the numbers around.
Yeah.
And the filmmaker came, and the woman who he featured in the film, a community activist, came with him.
Yeah.
And having just seen her on screen, trying to fight the good fight, it was very interesting having her there too.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think anybody was confused by that. There was less than overwhelming positive response to Walter Salas's film, I'm Still Here, which I thought was wonderful.
Yeah.
They liked it.
Did the kids like Here?
Oh, not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Because they had that with Zemeckis in class.
And Tom Hanks.
No big deal. And Tom Hanks. But they didn't really care too much for that one. Ryan is saying your class has good taste. Wicked is my favorite film of the year. A lot of people feel that way. I still haven't. Again, I'm the one that's behind. Somebody else asked if there's any Netflix movies that you've liked. Ken is asking that question, and I can't ever keep track of where things live. I watched Carry On the other day, the new one with Taron Egerton. It's fine. It's good. It's people. I like him very much, so I'll watch him. I don't think it's anything special, but it's good. Trying to think about what else. Brain mush. Is there a filmmaker high on your wish list to speak in your class? You've been very, very lucky.
I've had a pretty all-star lineup.
Yeah,
over the years.
I think that one of our favorite guests is Guillermo del Toro because he is just one of the most wonderful. Oh, there you go. Colin is saying Emilia Perez is distributed by Netflix. So Emilia Perez. He is the most wonderful person to listen to in general. He's the most wonderful person to listen to about film. And
sorry.
No. He he's great with the kids because he cares. And, they'll line up to speak to him and he'll stand there.
He's passionate and eloquent.
Mm-hmm.
That is a rare combination.
Passion quint.
Work on it.
I'll try. Give it time.
That was a good first try.
Yeah.
James Mangold has been to my class. He
Yeah.
came with 310 to Yuma.
Yeah.
And he may have come one other time.
Yeah. Oh, Ken saying, did you see 688? No, but I really would like to. Have you seen anything about that one?
Yeah.
It's the Kerry Washington
and
the real
Perry
story. Yeah. I'd like to see that. That looks really good. Kevin says, I feel like Saturday Night and Thelma were kind of overlooked. Is Lee for this year?
Yeah.
Josh, I don't know if you're still is Lee for have you seen it yet?
Kate Winslet?
Yeah. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
No. Josh just watched it the other day. I feel like that is a weird one because they considering its cast and its story and all of that, I feel like they did send her out to do a lot of press, but I'm not hearing.
She's still doing it.
Yeah, but I'm not hearing about the film.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I'm hearing about her, but I'm not hearing anything about the film. What about Ford versus Ferrari? Oh yeah, I'm thinking of the movie.
Someone said they thought this was James Mangold's best film.
Yes.
Ford versus Ferrari is
I love that movie.
It's a really, really good film.
I think that's one of the best in terms of how they shot being in the car. I think that's one of the best films ever made because they didn't use a lot of CG. You know how in a lot of car movies, they do that thing where they go through the engine and they show you all the things fired, but it's not real. To me, Ford v Ferrari, you felt like you were in the car. That's it. You feel like you're in the car.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where Christian Bale can't get his door to shut and he's speeding through and you feel that. And it's the same thing we talk about with fight scenes.
Yeah.
Where all the CG just makes it it doesn't do anything. But when you have something happening for real, there's a reaction. Somebody asked before about Nosferatu. Alice Maltin deeply hated Nosferatu. Leonard Maltin, I think, hated it less.
Yeah, I disliked it
Yes,
as opposed to hating it.
but didn't hate.
I'm not a fan of Robert Eggers' work. And The Witch was okay.
Yeah.
It's the only one that I have positive feelings for.
Yeah.
The more I read about him, he comes off as very pretentious.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But he came to my class with Northman.
Yeah.
A film I really disliked, rather intensely actually.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was a good guest.
Yeah.
He was interesting to talk to, but that film.
Nosferatu, not so much.
And Nosferatu, no, Nosferatu. I'll stick with Max Schreck and Mr. Murnau.
Yeah.
Herr Murnau.
Yeah.
1922.
And I will say, I love Interview with the Vampire. Help me. Shadow of the Vampire.
Oh, yes.
I love that movie so much. I do think it's really clever that they have Willem Dafoe in this Nosferatu.
Yes.
I like that nod. And it's a great cast of people in Nosferatu. It's a ton of really talented people. But Shadow of the Vampire, I think, is just a spectacular film. It's so strange in all the best ways.
Yes.
And it honors the original, but is its own thing. You know, and if you haven't seen it, you should. Is it not streaming anywhere? Yeah. I haven't looked in such a long time. I don't know. Yeah, that was a great one. I'll never forget seeing it in Telluride.
Yeah.
Never forget. It was really an incredible experience. Josh is saying Winslet was great in Lee. I know that's what you said the other day. Where did you watch it? Did you watch it through SAG, Josh, or was it streaming on something? Yeah, he's saying always interesting when a hidden story takes so long to get made. Old fashioned. Yeah, for sure. Excited for Paddington in Peru. The Paddington movies are so good. Yeah, that's what I thought.
They are good.
Yeah, Josh watched Lee on Hulu, so that's where you can watch Lee if you want to catch up with that. Yeah, I'm all for physical discs. Physical discs are where it's at. I like owning something. It's never a bad time for that. Blitz. He really liked Blitz.
Blitz. People don't like Blitz.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I'll admit I turned it on and it didn't catch me.
Yeah.
But it's also hard to do that.
Yeah.
For me right now.
Last year, speaking of a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Last year, Michael Mann's Ferrari.
You loved it.
No, but it vaporized.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Got no attention, got no respect, got no love,
yeah.
no awards.
Yeah.
No word of mouth. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Very different from Ford v Ferrari.
Oh yeah, it's a completely different situation. Yeah.
But and I'm a Paddington fan, so I'm looking forward to that for sure.
See, again, escapism. Give us Paddington. There's a reason why the Paddington films do well, and in part it is because we really, really like escapism, and we need it. And it's nice to watch something that just takes you away. It's nice to watch something that just lets you go into a nicer world, you know, a softer, gentler world. It's okay sometimes to have that.
Yeah.
I think that's why nostalgia is so popular right now, because things are so crazy. People really like putting on something that's like a hug. Wallace and Gromit too. Yes, you watched the new Wallace and Gromit. You and Mommy watched the new Wallace and Gromit.
Very enjoyable.
Yep. Honora. Yeah, Kevin, he liked Honora. Alice Maltin, again, did not like Honora. Alice Maltin was not a fan of Honora at all, but my dad did like it. So
I don't believe I'm allowed to give away what Fathom is showing this year, so I better play it safe and not answer you.
Yep. About Honora?
No, about several people are asking what films are going to be in their lineup. Yeah, they are. Well, trust me.
I trust you.
Oh, someone asked about Back to the Future.
There you go. No, he said when will it be posted? Question is, when will it be posted?
I don't know.
He don't know. My children and I love the Paddington books. Do you know them too? Only a little. I didn't really. It wasn't very popular when I was younger.
It was a British thing. It never caught on here the way, like Tintin.
Yeah.
You know, so popular in Europe and all over the world.
Yeah.
And Tintin never really became
Yeah.
like Harry Potter,
Yeah.
like internationally
Yeah.
successful, including the U.S., Canada.
I think really what was most popular when I was younger was still Dr. Seuss.
Mhm.
Really, that was kind of the go-to for most kids was to read Dr. Seuss. Do you remember when we read it together? Do you remember at that, what was it? Was it called Royal? No, what was it called? The bookstore underneath Daily Grill. You used to get a
Crown
Books. Yeah, there was that huge bookstore, and I think I remember us reading. I think it was Green Eggs and Ham. Just a weird memory. Tintin will be going into the public domain this year. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's just on the cusp.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens when people have that. I want to know how many seconds of music. Is it 8 seconds of music you can get away with before you have to pay? Is it 8? I think it's something like 8 seconds. I was thinking about it because a number of people on YouTube during Christmas time will use little bits of the Nutcracker.
Mm-hmm.
And, like Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies, but you'll just hear it for a second. You'll hear da 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 da, and then it cuts. And I go, is that exactly how long you have? This long?
No, I think it's longer because if you play a sample,
yeah,
even on iTunes,
yeah,
or someplace, I think 30 seconds. I think.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's that long. I disagree. Or at least on YouTube, it's not, because I know that they get docked and quickly.
Right.
Yeah. We'll see.
Hello, Australia.
Hi, Leonard and Jesse from Australia. Hello, Australia. Do I wave down? Hello, Australia. Have you guys seen The Day the Earth Blew Up?
Next
a Looney Tunes
film
movie?
on my watch list.
Yeah.
That's the next title on my watch list.
Yeah.
And this would be as good a time as any to promote the fact that I am doing a new podcast without Jesse.
Without me.
But with a guy named Guy Davis, who is known in Australia, and who we hit it off right away.
Yeah.
We just love talking about movies, and the show is called The Movie Guide, and it's a half hour. We have 8, I think, episodes posted right now on all the usual platforms, and we talk about films from the 70s, 80s, 90s, ish. And we're having a very good time.
Yeah.
We really are. Because it's forcing me to go back.
Yeah. And rewatch
stuff.
Which is really nice.
So we did The Godfather. We did major films like that. And then sleeper films like
I don't know.
Charles Grodin, Robert De Niro.
I don't know. I'm not there. So I asked you guys what your favorite films of the year were. And obviously you guys are coming in and I love seeing it. Jonathan says his favorite films of the year were Inside Out 2 and The Wild Robot.
Well, I'm with you on The Wild Robot.
Yep. Patrick says my favorite 2024 film is Dune Part 2. By the way, Leonard and Jessica, assuming you've seen John Harrison's 2000 miniseries and its sequel 2003, Children of Dune, how would you say those stack up against Denis Villeneuve's interpretation? I have seen nothing. I have not seen any of the Dunes. I have not seen any of the original Dunes, so I am useless to you. You?
Ditto.
We are useless to you, Patrick.
And I've never read any of the books.
Yeah. Did you like the second one? Second Dune?
I did, but I feel the way I do about most sequels.
Yeah. Scott but my husband liked both of them. My husband liked them both. I
liked the first one very much, and
it
held me. Midnight Run, thank you. That's what I was trying to think of before. Too much coming through here. Somebody just mentioned Ghostlight.
Yeah.
One of the true sleepers of 2024.
Yeah, that's true.
Along with Thelma.
Yeah.
Ghostlight is a really wonderful movie, featuring people you mostly don't recognize, except for Dolly DeLeon.
Yeah. JJ's saying for 2024, I love Megalopolis, no matter what anyone says. A friend of ours, and I won't say who, what did he say?
Indefensible.
Indefensible. He said there is no redeeming quality to that movie. We haven't seen it, so there you go. 1 second. Jim says, happy 2025 from St. Lou. Thanks, Jim. Despite its historical inaccuracies, my favorite film of 2024 was Saturday Night. Though your favorite, Leonard, A Complete Unknown, was my number 3.
Okay.
You liked Saturday Night a lot. You did not love, but you liked.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked that it caught the spirit and the atmosphere.
Yeah.
The chaotic atmosphere. But I thought it cheated in a couple of ways.
Yeah.
What the through line is that Lorne Michaels, the creator of this show that's about to debut that night, can't really describe what the show is going to be.
Okay.
To the network affiliates, to his boss, to anybody who's pinning him down. And I'm not going to give a spoiler about how he goes about it. Anyway, I don't think he knows either.
Yeah. So I say you liked but did not love.
Yeah.
Matt says, I quite like Night Bitch, but I'm catching up on a lot of titles, so cannot place it yet as my favorite. I forget, did you see it?
I saw it long ago.
Right. That's one of the ones. Right.
Yes, it was shot on Super 16.
Yes.
Saturday night. Very interesting. They did that on purpose, of course.
Yeah. Jason came to my dad's class. He brought the film to my dad's class. 1 second.
With his costume designer, director of photography, and production designer. Yeah. And they were all great.
Josh says, Chevy Chase telling Reitman he should be embarrassed. Most Chevy thing ever, please, man. Chevy Chase, such a disappointment to all of us. Like, you were so good. Just stop talking now. You're ruining it for me. You're ruining it for me, Chevy Chase. Matt's also saying, do we have any New Year's Eve plans? Yes, every year we go to our local pub and we hang out with everybody there. They do a big thing at 4:00 because that's midnight in the UK. So that way we don't actually have to stay awake until midnight because we're old like that. And so we go and we have dinner and it's just a lot of fun. It's a really relaxed and lovely atmosphere. It's down the street from our house and Daisy can go and has a great time. So yeah, that's our New Year's plan. And it has been for several years now. That's what we do.
Yep. My wife has always said, being married is having a date for New Year's Eve.
It's true. It's true.
It is.
Because it's not pathetic. When I would tell people I wasn't doing anything for New Year's because I don't think it's that big of a deal, they'd go, what do you mean? What do you mean you're not doing
New Year's Eve is for amateurs.
New Year's Eve is for amateurs. That's our favorite quote. But when you're married or you have a partner, then it's fine. Oh, it's nice the two of you are staying home together. How sweet. So just really that's why I got married. So people leave me alone.
Somebody mentioned Nicholas Hoult in the scroll that just went by.
Yeah.
He's in 3 movies right now.
He's in 3 movies right now.
And he's really good. He's really good in all of them.
Yeah.
As much as I disliked Nosferatu, he's very good in it.
Matthias says juror number 2 is his favorite of the year, which Nicholas Hoult is the lead in.
And then he's in The Order, which isn't getting a lot of attention yet.
But
may be building up to a wider release.
Yeah.
I think The Order is a very good film.
Jerry says so far Honora is his favorite. It's funny. My friend's son, who is 16, loved Honora. Whoops. Loved Honora, said that's his favorite film of the year, and then took his dad to see it. And I said to him, I go, man, you're trying to be like me and my dad watching all the inappropriate stuff together. How lucky. But
by the way, let me mention The Room Next Door, Pedro Almodovar's newest film with Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton. It's very good. It's very good. We've had some Almodovar moments that we'd rather not revisit.
Things you shouldn't do. Watch anything Pedro Almodovar with your family members.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. It's never going to end well for you. And if you're like me, you will end up just staring at the floor and wishing for death. I know, right? Yeah. 16-year-old loves Honora. Well, so he's a movie buff. Both of his parents are movie buffs. And I think part of what he loves about it is that he shouldn't love it, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a little piece of it, that he loves being able to say that it's his favorite, which I love.
Yeah.
So my dad has an entire stack of things to share with you, and he has been sitting with them on his lap this entire time.
New Year's Eve, is one of the many holidays. They celebrated in Holiday Inn, the 1942 movie with Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire.
Okay.
With an Irving Berlin song.
Yes.
Called Let's Start the New Year Right.
Yes.
Sung by Bing Crosby. And it runs about 1 minute and 10 seconds. I know because I had a license it once for Entertainment Tonight. And we're wondering if they're going to charge us for the 10 seconds.
Well,
or if we
did
get
they?
away with. I don't think they did.
Okay. How kind. Stuff.
Miscellaneous stuff. Stuff I didn't know I needed or wanted, but that sort of appeared.
So this says Roxy Theater, 7th Avenue, expires June 30th, 1954. Roxy Theater, 7th Avenue and 50th Street, New York City. Personal courtesy pass. Admit Mr. Daryl F. Zanuck. No big deal.
And here's his pass for Radio City Music Hall, just down the street.
Hang on. Here, hang on, Daddy.
1 second. Gee, Mr. Zanuck, this pass expired last week. I'm sorry, I can't let you in.
This is real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the real deal.
Yeah. How do you have these? Did you go into his home? Like, how?
Somebody, they must have had an estate sale
or
something, and then somebody resold them on eBay.
Because you can see that it's ink.
Oh, yeah.
That's Daryl Zanuck held this.
Yeah.
Daryl Zanuck held this. I'm holding a thing that he held.
Yeah.
That is cool.
This is pretty cool. It came in this envelope from the Pathé Exchange.
Yeah.
Pathé, by the way, being originally a French company, I don't know why they adopted a rooster as their logo and symbol.
Because why not?
But Pathé is still in business, and you still see in their logo, which shows mobiles.
Yeah.
It's a mobile with the fanciful lettering of Pathé, and at the very end there's a shadow of the rooster. It's a moving shot. Next time you watch a British film funded by them, look for the rooster.
Yeah.
Anyway, they sent out this promotional card.
Okay, so this says, is it Aileen? Aileen?
I think so.
Aileen Ray, Walter Miller. Here, Pathé's famous serial stars speak to you.
It's a miniature phonograph record.
Look at that. It's really neat. Kevin says he's going to go see Jinx Monsoon and Wayne Brady and Anything Goes at the Pasadena Playhouse. Very funny. I feel like you would enjoy that too. That sounds like a trip. It'll be interesting. You'll let me know how it goes. No, so it's not just a card. It is an actual record. Someone's asking. It is an actual record. I'm not going to take it off, but it is a real. It's not attached. It's not paper. It's a real itty bitty record.
Frozen echoes from the movies. You know, frozen echoes from the movies. It's ice cream dessert recipes supposedly contributed by silent film stars.
Really?
Really.
Anita Stewart, Goddess Fluff. Ingredients for Goddess Fluff. First, hunt up an ice cream dish. Then put in some ice cream. I would suggest peach for this. On each side of this stick in a ladyfinger. Okay, on each side of this stick in a ladyfinger, and then put on a regular mountain of whipped cream, a cherry on top, and the fluff is finished. Better call in your neighbor to try it with you. Whatever you say, Anita. Greetings and happy almost New Year, and the same to you. Favorite cinema/movie house and favorite film at that location?
The Ziegfeld Theater, now shuttered, it's been closed for a long time.
Yeah.
On 54th Street, just off 6th Avenue in Manhattan, where I saw Apocalypse Now. And when the helicopter attack to the strains of Wagner came on, it was surround sound. And so in this 3,000 seat movie theater, you felt you were there. I'll never forget that feeling. I'll never forget that experience, seeing that movie at that theater.
I used to love going to the Sunset 5, which was a theater on Sunset Boulevard that is now a chain theater. It's different. It used to be a Lemley. And I loved going there because I loved the experience of going sort of into that part of Hollywood. And it was kind of dinky, but I loved it because everybody going there was going to see some sort of indie film.
Yep.
So it was my crowd. It was my people. And it was kind of nice that everything was just a little bit terrible inside. Like everything's a little bit broken, which I thought was just very fitting. And it's not that it was the most comfortable, anything like that. It just showed the movies that I wanted to see.
This just in from Mark Evanier.
Indeed.
Why aren't more current movies released as One Reel Silent Castle films? A fine question. I knew the man who ran Columbia Pictures' home movie division, which did release 8mm and Super 8mm films.
Yeah. They
put out a 50 feet, which is to say approximately 3-minute version of Lawrence of Arabia. What do you do with that 3 minutes of running time? And apparently Sam Spiegel was furious.
Yeah,
they were going to siphon off box office attendance for the film with their 3-minute version.
Charles Shire died.
Oh,
I only know that because Craig says Rip to Olivia Hussey, The One True Juliet, and Charles Shire. Why did he die? He's 83. Brief illness. Well, that's really sad. That's really sad. That's going to make Mommy sad.
Sorry to hear that, indeed.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I've been to the Historic Virginia Theater in Champaign, Illinois for Ebert Fest on several occasions. It's a really nice theater.
Oh, sorry. That makes me really sad. I grew up with his daughters. His daughters went to the school that I grew up going to. And Charlie was always really, really nice to him. My mom loved him. He was always really nice to everybody. Nancy was a little bit more prickly, but she was also nice. And so because they went to our school, in a lot of the Meyershire films, like the remake of The Twin, God help me, my
Father of the Bride.
No.
Parent Trap.
Parent Trap. A bunch of the extras are all kids from my school. Friends of mine are throughout their films. And then Hallie and Annie, their two daughters, are in most of their films. And they use the names Hallie and Annie all the time. Go on. That's sad.
Yes, I don't mean to be cold-blooded going on with what I'm prattling on about. Yeah. I've not been to the Vista Theater since its reopening under Quentin Tarantino's management or ownership. So I can't comment on the Vista. It was always a nice theater. The New Beverly, I participated in programming there. I programmed 3 nights in November of rare Universal Pictures from the 30s. And I had a wonderful time there. And the management, the staff couldn't have been nicer. And the audience was very receptive. So I had a great experience there.
That's great. Doug, who asked the question, says, thank you very much, Leonard and Jesse. His is Pulp Fiction at the Ritz 5 in Philly in 1994. Is my favorite cinema/film experience combo. Well, I mean, seeing that movie on a big screen, I think would have an impact on anybody.
Yeah.
But seeing it in a great theater, I'm sure, was wonderful. Oh, that's so funny. Jenny says that she ran into Miles Kruger at lunch this month, and we talked about our mutual love of the Maltins. Thanks, Jenny. I miss seeing you. We all need to get together. My parents were just with Miles 2 nights ago.
On the anniversary of the opening of Showboat in 1927, which is December 27th.
Yep.
1927.
And Miles always has a party.
Yeah. So say you're a fan of Lionel Barrymore.
Hey, I'm a fan of Lionel Barrymore.
Well, then you'll be happy to know that some of his still life artwork was available as placemats. also has coasters.
I'm slightly shocked these aren't on our table. Oh, there's different ones. Look at that.
Like his brother John, Jack to his intimates, he was a very talented artist.
Got a whole bunch of options
Mhm.
here. Hello. Very cool.
I love show cards like this.
We've got all kinds of stuff. Barbara Stanwyck and Preston Foster and Annie Oakley. Crime and Punishment. Also Noah Beery Jr. and Gene Rogers in Stormy. A bunch of them. There we go.
I don't know when it was that the movie industry settled on standard, universally accepted sizes for posters.
Yep.
But the one-sheet posters were 27 inches by 41 inches, and still are. They made 30 by 40s too sometimes. But that's a one sheet. A lobby card is 11 by 14.
Right.
A window card is another size. But I came upon this Mexican lobby card of a Charlie Chase short, and that's Thelma Todd's leg dangling outside of his duffel bag there. And that's from I believe, the short called High Seas.
Very funny. Oh, thanks, Chris. Chris says, I'm thankful for the Maltins and the live stream. It's been such a depressing time personally and in the world, but these streams have been an oasis of joy. Thanks, Chris.
That's awfully nice.
We're really happy to be with you guys and to be able to sort of hang out on Sundays. We look forward to it. Craig says, I've been keeping up with the Movie Guide podcast. Guy is a great movie chat partner for you. The most recent episode is a review of the movies of Al Pacino.
Right.
That's awesome. Craig,
Right.
Thank you so much for listening.
Which was triggered by the release of his autobiography.
Yeah. Yep.
We're trying to find a little hook.
Yeah.
Just a little hook.
I will tell you, because you've interviewed him many times at this point. But when you and I got to sit with him for the show, I don't think either of us really knew. I think it's the most intimate interview you'd ever had with him.
Yeah.
Where it really was, it was not on a stage. It was not at a junket. It was just us in this very small studio. And he was really candid and happy. Yeah. I don't know that I expected him to be that happy. Like, he really enjoys his life. And he enjoys talking about the things he's done. Yeah. And considering the fact that he has done this for such a long time, you'd think that he, of all people, would not want to bring up, he wouldn't want to talk about Godfather, or he wouldn't want to talk about something like that. He did, happily. And it was...
maybe being a parent has...
maybe.
But
it was an incredible experience. It really, really was. Michael says, I'm a huge Thelma Todd collector. I'd recognize that leg anywhere. Thelma is one of my dad's great loves. He loves his Thelma. We have not a ton, actually, considering that she is your favorite. We don't actually have that much Thelma stuff, but we have a bit, and it is around. Yeah. Why don't you have more? Why don't you have more?
Well, I don't want to put up pin-ups. That would be a little on the cheesy side.
Ooh, Leonard. He did have, you say that. He had a little recording booth at our old house. It's a makeshift sort of thing. And on it, he had all these pin-up photos. We're just like, Leonard, no. Hey, do you happen to have a spoon?
I happen to have a Douglas
Fairbanks. Dad, do you happen to have a Douglas Fairbanks spoon? Yes. Why, yes, Jesse. Yes, I do. How convenient for us that I would just happen to have here a spoon still wrapped tightly.
Yeah.
Very tightly. Extremely tightly. There we go. This needs to be polished.
Yes. Somewhere upstairs in a file cabinet, I have an article that identifies...
Look at him trying to sign it.
Oh gosh, look at that. It's a facsimile signature in relief.
Yeah.
There were two separate sets of movie star spoons. One, I think, in the late teens and one in the early to mid 20s.
There's his face.
And he would qualify for either one.
Yeah.
Because he remained a star for.
And then his signature is here. Kind of hard to see. But it's there. That's wild.
Yeah.
We really do. That used to be one of my jobs, was polishing stuff in the house. I would polish his pins. We had this, what was the thing that looks a bit like a police shield? That little silver on the wood. I used to polish that.
Oh, yeah. That's a double collectible.
Yeah.
Because it's something to do with the royal family.
Yeah.
And something to do with some pop culture thing.
I realized that I have never actually looked at what it was. I just cleaned it a lot because it got dirty very easily.
We're going to end our show and tell today with this. This is to go on a canvas chair to be sat upon by
Jack Webb. Did he sit on this?
Oh, yeah.
Did his person touch this canvas?
Oh, yes.
I love it. Did he scratch off part of his name just there? That's really cool. How old do you think this is?
From the 50s or 60s.
Yeah. I know I say this, but I really am blown away by just how good things look considering their age.
Yeah.
You know, we have so much stuff in our house that is, I mean, we have a lot of stuff that's like 100 years old at this point.
Right.
And some of it you would never know. The colors are so vibrant, or the material is so clean and clear. You know, obviously sometimes paper ages a bit and you can see it sort of get that yellowing. But even with that, look at just how
pristine condition.
Look at how bright that image is. And, you know, obviously it stayed safe. It wasn't in sunlight and all the rest of it, but it is just really incredible to me how, I don't know. And it's not like they were making stuff to last. You know, it wasn't like a thought through. I want to make sure that this, you know,
none of this,
that 50 years from now, you know, it'll still be good. But it is interesting, isn't it? It really, really is. Thelma Todd and Zazu Pitts were an inspiration for Lucille Ball and Vivian Vance. Sure.
Well, I'm not sure that's true, but if you want to believe that, fine.
Yeah. There's a lot of stories. I think it's tough to keep any of them straight. 1 second. Discovered you here and your podcast in the summer of the pandemic, pre-Daisy. I enjoy these Sundays as I prep for dinner each week. Happy New Year. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it is crazy. I was thinking about this the other day because of how many years we've been doing it now. And yeah, we started doing it before I had a human child who's now 3. So it's pretty crazy. It really is pretty crazy. I don't know where the time goes. So I really don't. I don't know where the time goes, but it somehow does. And we're all, I think everybody's just doing their best.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the only way I can describe it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's just doing their best.
Okay. Nick is asking, did Henry Morgan possibly sit in this chair? You mean Harry Morgan, who then just became Harry Morgan.
Uh-huh.
Why? Because there was a radio humorist in New York named Henry Morgan. And when he came along, and he was not a film actor, so he didn't have to join Screen Actors Guild. He eventually made a movie.
Yeah.
But the only way that SAG would allow Harry Morgan to bill himself as Harry Morgan is if he billed it Harry Morgan.
Huh.
And I once asked Harry Morgan.
Yeah.
About that, and he said, "Oh, that was a big yeah, not a favorite topic."
That's so funny. I am fascinated, and this comes from doing the movie guide. I am fascinated by people who've had to add an initial or change how they spell something or add it. You know, like, so Emma Stone is a pretty well known. Her name's Emily Stone. There was already an Emma Stone. The tricky part of this is that it doesn't affect if you're in different unions. So there could be a Leonard Maltin in Light, a Leonard Maltin in the PGA, a Leonard Maltin in SAG. That's fine, but you can't both be Leonard Maltin in a union. So there are times where you'll look someone up and you'll go, oh, that's no, because that's them. That's a completely different person who's not an actor who does XYZ. But like Vanessa Williams was Vanessa L. Williams. Yeah. And then at what point are you allowed to just drop it? You know, did the other Vanessa Williams give up and sort of go, yeah, nobody knows who I am, so you can lose the middle initial? You know, it's what's his name? The one whose partner is Paul. The one whose partner is, my poor brain. It's a terrible thing to waste. Zoe. Just give me a second. I'll get there.
Well,
don't rush.
I saw Emmett Walsh the other night on TCM in Blood Simple.
Yeah. Paul Dano. I got it before I looked it up. Paul Dano was Paul Franklin Dano. And now he's just Paul Dano. And again, I just wonder, at what point do you make that decision? You know, or what is it just that you go, I've had enough. 2 names is plenty. You know, like when does that switch? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, that's a rhetorical question and a good one.
Yeah.
So the one time I met Emmett Walsh,
yes,
he came over to me, held out his hand to shake mine, said, "Hi, Mike Walsh."
Ha!
So obviously there was already a Mike
Walsh. Yeah.
In the Actors Equity, or
I know. Yeah. Well, it is funny because it's just a thing that you would never really think about, but someone has to come up with a new name. When I was a little bit younger and my friends were starting to try to get SAG cards and whatnot, and they were changing their names around slightly, some people just losing the last name, some people sort of coming up with something new entirely. And I laughed because some of them would come up with something and it was awful. We have one friend where the only way I can describe the name she came up with as a porn star name, and she had to change it almost immediately because everybody was going, what? But it is a trip to sort of think about how are you going to present yourself?
Yep.
What is, and of course now you have celebrities and their children.
Yeah.
Do you lose the last name? What do you do with it? You know, for example, Jack Houston, who is part of the Houston dynasty. Well, when you're younger, do you want to go, I'm going to be Jack Smith because I don't want to be known as part of the Houstons? Or do you just say, screw it, I am who I am? Kate Winslet's daughter, Mia, is it Thrippleton? Something like that. Again, hold please. But you know, so she's Kate Winslet's daughter. Now, if you know she's Kate Winslet's daughter, you can tell immediately. Yeah, Thrippleton. Thrippleton. Mia Thrippleton. She looks a lot like her mother. And so if I tell you that that's her daughter, you know, but she doesn't, you know, she has her dad's last name. So I say, it just interests me sort of coming up with it.
The Michael Fox, who caused the younger actor
to be Michael J. Fox,
will live in my memory forever.
Yeah.
As the villain in a serial from the early 50s called The Lost Planet.
Okay.
Where he plays Dr. Grood.
Oh, that's a good name.
And there's a chapter titled Dr. Grood Defies Gravity. And my friend Jerry Beck has the lobby card for that episode.
Of course he does.
And I'm jealous. I'm openly envious of him for that. Anyway.
Watch out, Jerry.
I see by the clock on the wall.
Yes.
I see by the old clock on the wall that it's time to say farewell for
right.
now. Just for now.
Everybody, I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope you're having a good Hanukkah. I think we're on night 5, 4. I don't know anymore. And the new year is upon us.
5.
It is 5. Okay, good. Something's working. The new year's coming. I know that it's hard. Everybody's going through a lot, just universally. Do something that makes you happy. If you want to spend New Year's Eve in your bed watching television, do that. It doesn't matter what anybody else wants. You do what makes you happy. We like going to this local pub and seeing our friends and then coming and getting into bed. Nobody can tell us otherwise. So enjoy yourselves, take it easy, be kind to yourself, and just be kind in general. And we'll see you in 2025. How is that possible? Bye, everybody.